Good evening, boys and girls. Welcome back in for another episode of SwissCheeseBeats. My name is Daniel. This is episode 18, and today we're going to get back to some playing, specifically talking about the 4 diddle rudiments that are listed on the P.A.S. 40. Before getting started, I'd like to wish all of you a very happy holiday season. We are full-fledged into the month of December now. This is my absolute favorite time of the year. I don't know what it is, but I even enjoy going out to the stores, getting right in the middle of all the chaos. I realize that makes me a little bit crazy, but it is what it is.
Oh my God!
And of course, with the holiday shopping season coming up, I know that many of you are making a list for your family members, or you're even looking at buying gifts. So if that's the case, or the person you happen to be buying for is a percussionist, don't forget to check out my video of the top 12 gifts you can purchase from Lone Star Percussion this holiday season. You can find a link to that video in the description down below, or you can even click over here. My one piece of advice when it comes to this stuff is definitely make a list. The last thing you want to do is end up like this guy.
It's a 1-year membership in the Jelly of the Month Club.
Oh, God.
Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
Now on to the rudiments. The P.A.S. 40 rudiments are broken down into 4 different categories. This happens to be category 2, which is the diddle rudiments. The diddle rudiments are made up of the single paradiddle, the double paradiddle, triple paradiddle, and of course the paradiddle-diddle. Somebody once overheard a buddy and I talking about diddles and paradiddle-diddles, and then they just started singing this song.
Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon.
Wow. I'm sorry, you're never gonna get those 4 seconds of your life back. So before getting into breaking down the rudiments, it's very important to take a step back and make sure that you can comfortably execute accent tap exercises. These are exercises like bucks, triple bucks, any type of variation of this simple exercise. My advice as always is to play the more simple exercises that's going to allow you to focus on mastering a concept, because that is what the point of an exercise is. 2 of the most important concepts that you're trying to master by playing accent tap exercises are of course the types of strokes, as well as the stick speed of each stroke as it applies. Now while these exercises can comprise of all 4 types of strokes, the 2 most common that you're going to be using are going to be the downstroke as well as the upstroke. When playing these 2 types of strokes, especially back to back, it's important that you remember that the stick speed on the upstroke is going to be slower than the speed of the stick on the downstroke. So in order to break these 4 rudiments down efficiently and correctly, I'm going to put them into 2 separate categories. The first category we're going to talk about are the paradiddle rudiments, which is the single, double, and triple paradiddle. The single, double, and triple paradiddles are all relative to each other. They each have singles, they each have a diddle, and they each have an accent. I think naturally we won't miss the accent. That accent's going to be executed with a downstroke, but I find that the most important stroke in order to play these rhythms consistently is the upstroke. The upstroke is what will allow you to play these rudiments consistently, whether it's back to back, slow to fast, or even fast to slow. And the upstroke for each of these 3 rudiments is in exactly the same spot. It happens on the note directly before the double right or the double left. So I'm gonna play these 3 rudiments 4 times each. I'm gonna play it at a pretty slow tempo, that way you can identify and specifically watch the upstroke. Pay attention to the speed of the upstroke, how it's a little bit slower than the downstroke. That's gonna help me create some consistent motion and constant energy in my playing. Going into paradiddle-diddles, the same concepts apply regarding the down and the upstrokes. However, because of the sticking, the execution of these strokes will be a little bit different. Both the up and the downstroke happen in the lead hand of a paradiddle-diddle. Your first one's going to be a downstroke, which is the accent, the very first note you play of the rudiment, but your upstroke is located on the second note of the diddle sticking on the lead hand. This example of a paradiddle-diddle is actually written in 6/8. I like to count this as 1 la-li and la-li, and being the upbeat, 1 of course being the downbeat. What I'm gonna do is take away the 3 left hands. That's gonna leave us with 1 li and. By doing so, this creates a fundamental called a huck-a-dig. So I'm gonna play 4 huck-a-digs at a slow tempo. I want you to take notice of where the upstroke is being on the second note of the diddle, the execution of the stick speed on the way up, and of course making sure that it's on the upbeat of each beat. Once you feel pretty comfortable with huckadigs, you're throwing in the non-lead hand and playing Paradiddle-diddles fairly consistently, here's a really cool Paradiddle-diddle paradiddle exercise that you can play. It's going to start out in 4/4 time. You're going to play 2 Paradiddle-diddles followed by a single paradiddle on the right hand. You'll then repeat the same exact pattern on the left hand. After that, it's going to go to a 5/4 time signature. You're going to play a single Paradiddle-diddle, a single paradiddle on both the right and the left hand, and then you'll repeat it, ending on the downbeat of 1. You can mark time to this exercise. It's going to feel a little bit funky, but you will end on the left foot. Be sure you're using a metronome as well to make sure that your timing is solid. When you're able to execute all 4 of these rudiments consistently, they're really fun to play. I specifically remember being young and being in love with Paradiddle-diddles, probably because it was the only thing I could play somewhat fast. But I would like to know, what part of these rudiments do you find most challenging? Do you think that people need to be aware about? Leave that down in the comment section below. Also, let me know what your favorite holiday movie is. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have a social media account you'd like to consider sharing this video, you can hit the share button down here on the right. And of course, if you have yet to do so, please consider subscribing below to catch more episodes. Thanks so much for tuning in. I will see you next time.